me, and welcome to episode 13 of The Weekly Whisper. I'm your host, Elian Habanero, and I'm here to talk all things in the world of 365 Pro Wrestling. And if you're like me, a big fan of 365, or you're a part of the 365 family, you're really missing wrestling right now. And remember back in the days on the Dave Letterman show, the late night show, he would do the top 10 list? Well, I did a little one of those myself. Here are the top 10 reasons that you can tell you're missing wrestling. Number 10, when you're at home doing homeschool with your kids, you use wrestling to teach math. Now, if Jeff Black did 7 pin attempts and he got 7 2 counts, and he was facing off against Clay Wilson, who did 5 pin attempts and he got 4 2 counts and 1 3 count, how many times did the referee slap the mat? I know I use wrestling and anything. So that's number 10. You use wrestling to teach math. Number 9, the number 9 sign that you're missing pro wrestling. You go through and read social media comment threads and you dissect them. You pick out who the heels are, the faces are. You look at the work rate. This person was sloppy on their punctuation. This person really put the time and effort in. Anything can be traced back to wrestling. Top 10 signs you're missing wrestling. Sign number 8. Whenever you flush the toilet, you super kick the toilet handle to make it flush. Or any kind of kick. It could be just a big boot. Maybe you double axe handle it. Anything to get to do with wrestling. Alright, sign number 7 that you're missing wrestling. Every time you enter a room, you make a wrestling entrance. You even got the invisible high fives going, and you spit your water, or whatever you do your pose. You love coming in the room, and even to the invisible crowd. Sign number 6 that you miss wrestling. You sleep either in your wrestling gear, or with one of your championship titles, whether it's a replica or a real one, or with your wrestling figures. You can't sleep without having wrestling there to help take you to dreamland. Number 5, when politicians hold press conferences, you treat it and rate it like it's a promo. There's plenty of things like, oh, that was too scripted. Oh, I really like how he used his hands, like that kind of stuff. Anything can be traced back to wrestling. Sign number 4 that you miss wrestling too much. You turn into a referee when you people watch. You're like, hey, that guy's he needs a 5 count. He's been touching his face for 3, 4, 5. Come on, break it up. Stop touching your face. Like any of that kind of stuff when you people watch. Hey, get back. You're supposed to be 6 feet social distance. Anything fun like that. I'm just trying to have fun. Maybe we should put a disclaimer that says the views expressed by the hosts of the Weekly Whisper do not necessarily reflect the views of 365 Pro Wrestling or something along those lines. Okay, so let's see. Sign number 3 that you're missing wrestling too much. You announce stipulations for food you cook. Oh, this oven lasagna is going into this frozen oven lasagna is going into the oven with a 20-minute time limit. The first lasagna to escape from the oven door will win the contest and get enjoyed by the family at the dinner table. What else do we got? Sign number 2 that you're missing wrestling too much. You cut promos in the shower on your shampoo bottle. Oh, you say that you're the best shampoo. You say that you're gonna make my hair silky smooth. Well, I'll tell you something, Head and Shoulders. You've been running around these parts for too long without showing the proper respect. And you say only a small drop is needed in my hand. I would like to say that it takes more than a small drop of Head and Shoulders. It takes a large drop of Head and Shoulders shampoo to get my hair silky smooth, or something like that. I would like to see you guys come up with better ones. Please come up with something better than this. And sign number 1 that you're missing pro wrestling too much. Whenever you wash your hands, you imagine taping your wrists, getting ready for the match. I want to hear your guys' signs that you're missing wrestling. Drop them in the comments. What is a sign that you're missing wrestling too much? All right, what was that? Let's get on from that. Okay, so now in the history of 365, which started this year, January 1st, 2020, we have crowned, or 365 has crowned some championships. We have the tag team champions, the team of Javico and Eddie Osborne, and they have currently held the 365 Tag Team Championships for 80 days. So that's going to be a nice record that they're, as the first Tag Team Champions, they're really setting the bar high with a great title run in the length of 80 days. And old greedy bastard Jordy Taylor was crowned the 365 Grand Championship, and he has now held the title for a total of 38 days. So the numbers are just really skyrocketing. And you know, like, there's not been a lot of wrestling going out, but 365 is trying to provide content for you 365 days of the year. So ever since this this whole pandemic started, the self-isolation, I looked, there has been 19 things released on their YouTube and podcast channels. So here is the content checklist. Let me know how many you can check off the list. And this is going after Weekly Whisper episode 11, because that's when it all started happening around then. So anything uploaded after that. First there was podcast episode number 59, which was an update about the state of the 365 and what content would be coming out and all that kind of anything. If you want to know the state of 365, then go and check out podcast number 59. Now remember, all the podcasts can be found on Spotify, Google Play, iTunes, and on YouTube. And the second thing on the content checklist was podcast number 60 with Parm Singh Man. And then we had a match released from the Vault. All these matches, obviously, there's not any new live events taking place, so they're going back and digging in the Vault and finding what matches they can put out to keep you invested, to keep you, you know, when you're stuck at home with nothing to do, keep you enjoyed, or entertained, I guess is the word I'm looking for. So we had the match of Josh Alexander versus Kato Kiyomiya, don't know if I said that right, and Super K, a triple threat elimination match. Then it was podcast number 69. Miss Mandy, I believe, was the host for this one with Eric Kearney. And then podcast number 62 with Clay Wilson. Then we had one of my matches was released from Cambridge, Ontario. Elian Habanero versus Jesse Bieber. We had a match released, Sexy Sid Summers versus Lance Malibu. 2 Eric Kearney matches in a row. We had Eric Kearney versus Beautiful Bia. That's already hit 100 views, I believe. And then we had Eric Kearney versus Reckless Ryan Swift. Number 10 on the content checklist is podcast number 63 with Nolan James. Then it was my video, The Weekly Whisper, episode 12 with my special guest. Then it was podcast number 65 with Tex Lexus from the Bunker. Then we released some more matches, or they released some more matches. We had Cesaro, back when he was known as Claudio Castagnoli, versus Eddie Osborne. The 21st Century Fox versus Addie Starr from 2007. Geza Coleman Jr. versus Michael Elgin from Goderich, Ontario. We had a mixed tag match, Juan Ortiz and Sarah Del Rey versus Reggie Marley and Jennifer Blake. Content checklist number 17 had Eddie Osborne versus Jeff Black in a loser leaves Goderich match. Then we had a 6-way contest. We had Michael Elgin versus Sean Spears versus Hornet versus Mike Stevens versus Buck 10 versus Hayden Avery. And then just yesterday, podcast number 65 with the ticket taker, Irene. Check that out. How many of those 19 can you check off the content checklist? Now, I know a lot of stuff is swirling around. When is the first event going to be taking place when this all settles down? We don't have an definitive date. The April and May shows have not been canceled as of yet, but it's getting closer and closer to looking like there's a possibility that they will not take place. Definitely April is looking scary right now. But how exciting is it going to be when that first show takes place? Like, the fans are going to be just itching to see some live action. It's not the same on TV or even on YouTube, but it's always fun to reminisce on YouTube. And the wrestlers and the managers and the referees and the ring announcers, anybody that used to being out in front of the fans, how great of a feeling is it going to be when you get that first event take place, the first one since the pandemic shutdown, I guess we could call it, the shutdown of 2020. So, what else? As you may know, it's really hard at the current time to have guests on the Weekly Whisper, but when this all settles down, which member of the 365 family would you love to see me have as a guest on the Weekly Whisper? Drop your answer in the comment section on YouTube. I love the comments, and I will quote you if you comment. I'll bring the comment corner back. I will quote you, name drop you, say what you had to say. Who would you like to see me have take part in an episode of the Weekly Whisper? That's big for me. So, what else do we got? You know, when you have nothing to do and you're sitting around, and sometimes the creative juices get flowing, so who can write like a 365 song, or a poem, or make a 365 meme, or a GIF, or whatever they are, or maybe like a highlight video or something? I want to see the creativity come out. So who's going to come out of the corner with some creativity, a big boot of creativity out of the corner? I tried to write like a poem, song, I don't know what it's going to call, but I wanted it to be like the 365 theme song, and it's going to be like, I'll just read it to you. 365, Pro Wrestling 365. Yes, it is 365. All day it's 365. There's suplexes, arm drags, hip tosses, chops, and if you're looking for action, then they have got lots. The fans start to get loud when wrestlers come down that aisle. If they hate them, they'll boo. If they like them, they'll smile. They'll cheer and yell and scream for the ones that they love. Some wrestlers climb to the top rope and jump from above. They represent Ontario, they represent BC. They're the best wrestling company, and you should believe me. They are some pure athletes that make it look easy. Make sure to buy your tickets so that you can come see the show live in person, cause it's better, they say. This is stiff competition in a physical way. There's leg drops and clotheslines and plenty of dives. Some wrestlers are crazy, they be risking their lives. There's referees, announcers, and managers too. Some fans like the wobbly pops and be having a few. Some fans get pictures with their favorite stars. Some of those stars go home with plenty of scars. Check the content on YouTube and visit the website. Something new every day, so check it the next night. That's what I got so far. I'm going to try and, if I can, make that into some kind of 365 theme song, as I mentioned. But I want to see what you guys can come up with. Can you come up with, like I mentioned, a song, a poem, a music, edit something together, Photoshop something, anything that you could do that revolves around 365 wrestling. And as always, I want to make sure, I want you guys to comment. Comment what you have to say in the videos. The content checklist, which ones did you check off? Did you have anything for the top 10 list of signs that you miss wrestling? Because as always, please, this is important, like, or you get a leg drop. Comment, or you get a clothesline. Subscribe, or you get a suplex. I'm your host, Elian Habanero. I love wrestling. Cuba!